Okay, so what I'm doing is I am reading the rest of the chapters of Product 37 to prepare myself for when I go into the studio, but these will be most likely unpublished as soon as I have a copy on iTunes and Spotify and good stuff like that. Chapter 3 of Product 37. The system is down. Tracy looked around the room. She chuckled when she thought the system looked like a junior chat moderator would use for Reddit. The Chinese took the once great site of the Freaks and Geeks hostage. She referred to new Reddit as the Reddit to make sure people knew the site was no longer cool or edgy. Of course, she referred to all online chat moderators as censor worms. Tracy's feelings were hurt because the Reddit had kicked her out of Dr. Phil's chat. Tracy had only said that a picture of a girl's cancer tumor looked like a California raisin. That's it. Nevertheless, she was banned for chat permanently for being insensitive to the 12-year-old victim of malignant melanoma. Playing with the security system was fun. Even the mid-grade system was powerful indeed. She was surprised at how far she could see and how much she could see. She watched all the comings and goings of her neighbors, as well as the musings of the wild animals. The zoom feature was strong and the resolution adequate. She was going to have fun watching all of the playing squirrels. For 2 days, Tracy played with the system constantly. Within a week, she gravitated into doing what she used to do when Tracy was in community college studying for tests. Take an extra one of her Adderalls to dive deeper into attention and focus. The security monitoring system she had now at her disposal made her feel almost godlike, seeing everyone and everything with the power to rewind and erase. The first couple of months, she juggled her extra pills usage by not taking a pill at night before she went to bed. The pressures of society and the media made her parents make Tracy take Adderall during the ADD revolution of the 1990s. Tracy was somewhat used to them anyhow, so she had to take more and more of them for more focus and more enjoyment when she played with her new tech toy. By the third month of security sleuthing, she had gotten herself in some real trouble with her meds. At the end of that month, she had to settle for half an Adderall 30 2 times a day to ration herself until she could get her prescription refilled. She had gone without her meds before, but at her age, doing without medication made her a mess. She was sleeping most of the day, with barely enough energy to get up and get something to eat or take a piss or dump. She called her pharmacist. CVS wouldn't fill them until day 30, the awful folks. Fuck them, she thought, as she called another pharmacy to get her prescription moved. She talked to a pill counter at Marco Thyengar's drug shop. Mr. Thyengar was a respectable enough town resident, and Tracy wasn't sure why she never supported his local business in the first place. They filled the prescriptions on most medications on day 28. This week, since she told them she was going away on vacation, the pharmacist would make an exception and fill them on day 27. She made the switch. It was nice to get them filled a little early for losses and emergencies. Plus, she was tired of paying $2 more per toothbrush or $5 more for a thing of laundry detergent if she accidentally had to make a purchase in CVS when she got her monthly meds. After switching pharmacies, she put on some old DVR recordings of Dr. Phil and drifted off to sleep, listening to him tell a mother she was awful for insisting her teenage son slice his pepperoni before eating it. 3 more slothful days, and she waltzed into Thyengar's drug shop. Tracy smiled at Mr. Thyengar and winked at the pill counter as they handed her a bottle of 90 Adderall 30s for the month. She was anxious for energy, so she hurried out to go swallow too. As she neared her vehicle, the draw to take her meds became more powerful and more real. She couldn't wait. She reached her pill bottle out and dropped the paper sack of her pills on the ground while she walked. She was shaking by this point, and the pill bottle wasn't childproof, so in her haste to open the contents, the top of the bottle flew off and all the pills spilled out onto the parking lot, bouncing and rolling around. Terrence was digging in the dumpster at the side of the building and felt something gently tap his shoe. It was the unmistakable size, color, and shape of an Adderall 30. He snatched it up with a yelp and confirmed his fortune. He looked up and saw a middle-aged woman on her hands and knees in the parking lot, gravel, digging and scooping for pills. Terrence ran right over to help himself. "Let me help you, ma'am," he said excitedly, and started to pick up and hand her a few pills, his eyes trained on her eyes. Every time she looked away or down, another pill got flicked by him into a nearby patch of grass or bush. One he flicked under a nearby car. It rolled and hit a rear tire and stopped. After plucking 7 or 8 away, he stopped and stood up and watched her crawl around on the ground and pick up the rest. "You got them all, ma'am," he grinned. She counted them. 81. "That means there's more out there I can't find." Tracy started to tear up. She walked around, scanning the ground. She sobbed. "I'm going to have to go back in and tell them about me dropping and losing my medicine. All because they didn't use a child-proof bottle," she cried. "I see they have security cameras, so they can at least see I lost 9 of my pills." Terrence sidestepped in front of Tracy and held out his palms in the air. "How about I got a better idea, ma'am?" Terrence grinned at her, a clever, sensual grin. "Calm down and come get in my truck with me. I got something better than those pink pills." She looked at him, nervous and distant, but her energy level was so low. She couldn't think straight enough to see through his welcome-looking grin to tell he was really low down and dirty. Staying silent and meek, she drifted over with him to his Chevy S10. Tracy crept inside the passenger seat, keeping the door cracked in case she needed a fast escape. "Why should I worry?" she figured. "Everyone today knows everything is being filmed." "Please close the door, ma'am," Terrence said firmly. She looked over at him in mild disgust. "I'm not going to do anything to you, ma'am, I promise you," he said with a single chuckle. Tracy softly closed the truck door. "Because you lost your pills, I want to help. The pharmacy isn't going to replace them. That's an old pharmacy con. If you can't find them, you lost them. I want to save you the trouble of going to asking them to look at the footage, because they aren't going to do it for you. I have some methamphetamine here. It's 10 or more times better and stronger than your weak pills. You look like you're tired and could use a good pick-me-up. I promise I can help make you feel good." Terrence locked eyes with her in a way that made her not look away, and so he reached into his pocket, his watch fob, and pulled out a small ball of crystal meth. "Well," Tracy stammered a bit. She definitely didn't feel good, about as bad as she had felt in a long time. A lot was on the news about meth and fentanyl. She knew meth was a stimulant like her meds, but not as deadly or dangerous as fentanyl. Horror stories were shown on True TV about the details of the drug's trendy grip, but try it once, she felt so bad. "Sure." Terrence reached under his seat and pulled out a piece of broken tile and set it on his lap. Opening the ball up, his pinching out the largest chunks, he poured out a bit of shake on the tile and scraped it with the old phone card. He smushed it down and rubbed it from side to side, then lifted the card and tapped it off on the pile, poofing off the powder that was stuck to it underneath. Getting off most of the meth and making a decent line, he wiped the phone card on his pants and returned it to the floor of the cab. He rolled up a dollar bill and presented it to Tracy, saying, "Here, snort." Tracy looked around to see if anyone was watching, and since not, she pulled all her hair to the left, leaned down, and gave it a try. As soon as she was done sniffing, it felt like the wrong end of a lit sparkler was tickling her brain. Her body shook off the pain, and she dropped her bill on the floor, rubbing her nose and spitting coughs. "What the hell?" she said. "It's all right. Everything's going to be all right. Expect that. It will only hurt for a little while," Terrence said, grinning at the corniness of his joke. "The burn will go away and you're going to feel great. How sure am I? You'll be calling me back in a day or two for more." Tracy glared at the confident middle-aged man as she continued to rub her sinuses and shrug her nose. "I doubt it," she said. "Just remember this," he said. "My phone number is 244-1921. 1921. 1921, that is. That's 244, President Harding's inauguration date. That's 1921. Tracy rolled her eyes and got out of the truck and didn't say another word. Terrence watched her, smiling, as she made her way back to an early 1990s Honda Civic with black antique tags. Terrence chuckled at the sight and muttered to himself, "I'm sure she's going to eventually call." A minute after Tracy left the parking lot, he got out of his truck to retrieve the beans. After looking for 10 minutes, Terrence only found 8 pills. "She probably miscounted," he murmured, and got back in his Chevy S10 to figure out what best to do with the score. Too easy. He'd trade all the Adderalls to Dave for Xanax, and then trade the Xanax to his meth dealer for meth. That way, he turned his street score of 8 Adderall 30s into over 2 grams of crystal meth. Again, he smiled at how clever he was and drove on down the road to perform the swap. That's Chapter 3 of Product 37 by John H Stephenson IV.